Layout One of the CSS environment. So let's go to this courses, VT 1400 CSS, and right here in the tutorials and notes, let's go to Layout One. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that code, I'm going to copy it, open up my text editor, paste it, save it as layout one.html, and let's go ahead and look at what we're gonna be trying to build out. So we have, I'm missing my bg.png. Well, how do I go ahead and get that? Well, if I go back to my layouts, layout one, there's kind of an explanation of everything we're doing. I need to go grab the working example and bg.png, and there it is right there. So if I grab that image and put it on the desktop as well, then when I bring this back in, I bring that back in, it gives me the example. So let's work through now. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Text display, show fonts. Let's go to 18 size, get rid of that. And let's review through what's going on here. So what we want to do is, in building out this layout right here, so what are we doing? Well, we're building out a container, a centered container with an image in the background. So we start with our doc type HTML, and we do HTML head, title, layout number one. Again, we're doing an internal style sheet that ends here, so style to style. You can see that. Next piece is the body. That's our HTML selector for body. That will be called or referenced right here. So for the body, we're going to say background : URL bg.png, and that's the name of the image we just picked up right here. We're going to tell it to repeat with zero margin, zero padding, and set the background color of the overall body to white. So that's what that declaration does. It basically sets all of the background properties in a single declaration. It calls this image and then tells it to tile in the background. Next little piece is right here on # container. That's going to be calling our container ID. So it looks like we've got an overall container here. So that goes from this div to this div. And so what are the properties and values of that? So we have it's going to be 700 pixels wide. It's going to have 10 pixel padding on all four paddings. So that's going to be top, right, bottom, and left. And then the margin on this is going to go 0px auto. And if you remember, if you have two, it sets the first one as your top and bottom margins to 0, and then your next two, which are left and right, it'll center it. So what that centering means is if I change the size of my browser, it's going to still set that left and right margin to auto, so that it auto centers the whole container. So there's your container. Links. The links container is going to have a background color of darker gray. So if we look, it's kind of this medium gray, and you can kind of see here links container that's centered as well. The bottom margin is going to be 10px, so there's going to be a margin at the bottom. Minimum height is 70px. Now min height also means that you can get bigger than that, but it won't let it get smaller than that. Border, we're going to have a solid light gray border all the way around the edge. It's going to have a 15 pixel pad, which means, again, top, right, bottom, left, paddings are going to be 15, and then the color of the text is going to be white. Now the content container is going to look a lot like that, but the background or the background color is going to be a light gray. Minimum height is going to be 570, so it's a much bigger minimum height. You're going to have a border set to light gray and then a padding of 15px. We call the div ID one here, put some text inside of it, end it. We call the div ID content one here, end it, and all of those sit within that container. This, when you leave this outside of that, that's just going to be image in the background. It's going to throw it right over here as part of your element.